Woohoo! What's up, people? What is up? What is up? What is up? Game wrapped up about 10 minutes ago. Usually I'm recording the video right after the game ends, but had to take in that post game a little bit. There was some stuff happening on the field. Nothing big, of course, but I just wanted to take it in. I just wanted to really absorb that because that's a high point right there. That is a high point that you are unlikely to meet for the rest of the season. Week 1, national TV, you're playing your old quarterback, and you find a way. And look, obviously, the team didn't play perfect. The team showed you that they're going to have problems in a few areas tonight. They didn't make every play. They left some plays out there, including some ones that, in a slightly different timeline, we're here lamenting because they cost us the game. But let me lead off with this. On a night where the defense played really, really well, but gives up a lot of big plays, gives up over 400 yards, 340 passing, on a night where the tackling was not great, on a night where the pass rush was hit and miss all over the place, on a night where some stuff went wrong, I want to lead this video with one thing, because this is a guy I've been not so positive about in the past, and he made the play. And it wasn't obvious at the time that it was the play, but it was. Cody Barton. Cody Barton shoots the gap on 1st and 10 on the screen pass that for all the world looked like a big play for the Broncos. Shoots in, 4-yard loss. He got hurt on the play, by the way. Came up a little bit lame on the tackle, but he makes the play. 4-yard loss. 2nd and 14 turns into 3rd and 14, turns into 4th and 5. Forcing Denver into a very, very interesting decision that they made. I appreciate it, but I don't know what to say about them actually doing that. To me, it's just you trade the farm for a quarterback. You give that quarterback 245 whatever million dollars, and then with the game on the line, you take the ball out of his hands on 4th and 5 instead of in lieu of giving the ball to your kicker, who is a good kicker, but a 62-yard field goal in an open-air stadium on the road, 64 yards. And I know he can make it, but you give all that money and give up all that stuff to get the quarterback. I'm putting the ball in his hands in that spot. So, grateful for it, of course. Grateful for it, but it doesn't happen if Cody Barton doesn't make that monster play on that screen pass. It looked like the game was going in a bad way, and then he did that. So I really wanted to lead with that, because Cody didn't have the best game of his life. He didn't play a great game. There were definitely some problems with the linebacker run fits. There were definitely some problems in covering the flats. That might be more of a play calling thing than anything. But Cody Barton, on a day where I noticed some good and some bad, he made that play. And we could be sitting here right now thinking about the plays we didn't make in a game where we barely lost, like, say, Jamal dropping the pick, Quandre dropping the pick, Quandre not tackling strongly on a 3rd down, giving up the 1st down instead of setting up 4th and 2 because he kind of weakly just bear hugged the guy and let him lean forward for an extra 2 yards. You could talk about some of the plays where, like on the last Seahawks drive, DK coming open, and then Cross gets his brakes beaten off by Bradley Chubb, gives up the sack, doesn't do that. Drive probably keeps moving, and we take more time off the clock. Maybe it never even comes to that dramatic moment, but Cody made the play, and I did want to lead with that. So, that out of the way, I talked before this season started about the ability to ugly up the game a little bit if you're the Seahawks. You don't have the greatest roster. You don't have the greatest players. But you find these weird ways to win. And that was kind of exactly what I was talking about. Okay, you look at these stats. I have some of these stats on screen. You look at these stats and you'd swear we lost by 3 touchdowns. Seattle's offense put up barely 250 yards. They didn't score a point in the 2nd quarter. They left a easy touchdown on the board in the 1st half when they went for it on 4th down and Geno slips on the QB sneak. You look at those things and you go, okay, Seattle punted on what should have been an easy touchdown, turning it into 0 points. 250 offensive yards. How are they going to hang? And then you look over at Denver and you're like, 400 yards, 400 and what was it, 430 yards? Massive yardage. And then you look at the little details in this game, like not a lot of QB pressure on Russ, a little bit. Shout out to Nwosu. He played a great game. I love that blitz by Cody Barton in the red zone. That was beautiful. I think it was in the red zone. Not a lot of pressure. Both rookie corners got badly abused in this game in at least a couple of spots. Colby on the touchdown, Tariq with the 2 penalties. Mediocre tackling. I saw Brooks miss tackles he usually doesn't miss. I saw Diggs be a little weak on one of those tackle attempts. I saw some very lazy, lackadaisical tackling. We couldn't really stop the run, giving up over 5 yards a carry, over 100 yards rushing for Denver. We didn't stick to the run on offense. So you look at all this stuff and you're like, oh, we must have gotten crushed. No. And this is what I'm talking about. Uglying up the game a little bit and finding a weird way to win. And then you send the other team out at the end of the day and they're like, how did we lose? How did we not win by 3 touchdowns? Look at these stats. Wilson throws for 340 yards. We run for over 100. Jerry Jeudy's monster game. The screen game was working really well for Denver, and you got to say, Wilson using his tight ends well, using the screen game well. It's looking like things are going to be a little bit different for Russ when now that he's in Denver, for people who were maybe wondering about that a little bit. And yet, you hold Denver to 16 points, and Broncos fans must just be looking at this like, how did we not put up 40? How did we not put up 40 with these stats? And the answer tonight's pretty obvious, right? The answer tonight's clear. 2 fumbles inside the 5-yard line. 2 fumbles inside the 5-yard line by their running backs. Gordon and Williams had 1 apiece. So it's not like it's a big mystery, right? But still, you look at these numbers. You look at the fact that our cornerbacks were playing so far off receivers the whole game. That's one thing I noticed consistently throughout. We were just terrified of getting beat over the top. Guys were just playing off, giving Wilson free short completions. For the most part, he didn't really take them. I don't know why, but you look at all these things, and you don't really know how you got there, but you got there. And what got us there, I'm going to start with Geno. Great first half. Brilliant first half. Second half, he didn't have the ball that much. He still made some nice plays. He still didn't play badly. I don't have a problem with the way Geno played, but in the second half, but it obviously wasn't as good. But he played a clean game. He took 2 sacks late where maybe he could step up in the pocket. He's got a decent pocket, got to step up, got to feel the pressure coming down on your backside. But other than that, you can really count the number of bad plays Geno had tonight on one hand. 5 incompletions, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Did a great job avoiding negative plays until the very end there. And the game was largely on his shoulders. We only ran the ball a handful of times. We got away from the run and never really committed to it. Rashad Penny had 12 carries. And to my shock, Geno was up for it. Geno was completely up for it. 13 running plays for your backs. Geno drops back probably nearly 3 times that much, and he finds a way. Very efficient, very effective. Obviously left some stuff out there in the second half, but even then, look, the play calling, I'll say this, great first half, second half, not as big of a fan, but impressed. The play calling in the first half especially was great. A lot of stuff to the tight ends. You can really see how this offense, with Wilson having moved on and Geno in there, like Geno's not as good as Wilson. He's not. But he is capable of playing the game smarter, and tonight I think he did. And he is capable of playing better within this offense than Wilson was, and tonight I think he did. It still wasn't amazing because Geno is a limited player, but I was very impressed. I thought the offensive line played okay. Cross and Lucas got off to great starts. Cross eventually gave up 2 sacks, which was ugly. And then Lucas had the holding call on the big run by Penny that could have maybe started putting this game away much earlier. But they're rookies. They're going to have their welcome to the NFL moment, just like Kobe and Tariq did. Like people in the Discord. People on Twitter were killing these guys for making some of these mistakes that they did. Cross, Lucas, Kobe, Tariq, and guys, they're rookies. They're going to have their welcome to the NFL moment. I didn't think Tariq played too badly outside of the 2 penalties. He had good coverage on a couple plays. I thought he was stuck his nose in there and was willing to tackle. And even though they gave up all those yards, they found this kind of weird and inexplicable and yet somehow familiar way to win. And look, it's more obvious tonight than it usually is, obviously, right? Because of the fumbles. And 95 times out of 100, they score on one of those drives, and we're having a different conversation. I understand that. But we made those plays. Al Woods penetrating to the backfield and Nwosu forcing the fumble. Like, we made those plays. They didn't drop it. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon didn't drop the ball. We punched it out. So what else can you say other than that they deserved it? They forced the issue and they deserved it. They gave up those yards. They played soft. And it is a game of inches at the end of the day. We won by inches, but we got in there and we forced the issue. Nice game for Disley. Nice game for Colby. I'm going to say this. I've said before, let me just spend a minute on this. We won, so whatever. But let me just get this out of the way. I've said before that Metcalf does need to get more mature, and he does. But I also said as he gets older, that should happen naturally. The time is now, okay? I can't have Metcalf fighting for an extra half yard when there's 3 people on him like that. That needs to stop immediately. Somebody needs to sit him down and talk to him about how that's not going to fly anymore. You're not fighting for anything. There's nothing to gain there. We saw it again tonight. We had an opportunity to start maybe putting this game away, and Metcalf with the stupid fumble when he's fighting for nothing. So that's one thing I'll say about that. But otherwise, I was mostly impressed with what I saw from the play calling on offense. Limited personnel, rookie tackles, limited quarterback, missing a couple of at least semi-important guys, not able to run your full slate of plays. I mean, the way we use Dwayne Eskridge, it just doesn't feel like he really knows the offense that well yet still somehow, which, I mean, that's not good. We don't like that. But finding a way to still get your tight ends involved. Like the Colby Parkinson touchdown is beautiful, right? The Colby Parkinson touchdown was just beautiful. Great play call by Waldron. It shows you what this offense can be. Really, the whole first half should really, really excite you if you're if you're hopeful about the Shane Waldron experiment. And that's really most of it, right? Like, obviously Jamal, we're waiting for, as of right now, I don't know what the status is. I will say this, he was declared doubtful when he was taken out, which maybe tells you that it wasn't a disaster if they were at least open to the slight possibility of bringing him back in that game, even though it was obviously never going to happen. But if it was a disaster and it was obvious, you'd think they would just call him out. The fact that he was declared doubtful, hopefully it wasn't a disaster, but not encouraging, not happy about that at all. Tariq got hurt, but he came back in. It looks like he's fine. I don't know what's going on with Cody. Hopefully he's fine, especially after he made, in my opinion, the most important play of this game. Not the best play of this game, but probably the most important play of this game. And we're on to week 2. 1-0. Helped our case with the Broncos pick. I'm going to put this video up. I'm going to leave it up for a little bit, and then we're going to stream for maybe an hour and a half. So hold on to your butts. We'll talk about it, but yeah, not a perfect team, but a team that hung in there, kept trying to make that one extra play, with a pass rush that, for the most part, was not good, with plenty of missed opportunities to make plays out there. There were maybe 3 easy interceptions that we just didn't make out there, including the Jerry Jeudy touchdown, which I'm watching right now over here. Like, Colby gets beat so badly, but it's still such a terrible throw. He could have picked it off, and he doesn't turn around in time. You know, all those plays you didn't make, you make that one. Cody Barton makes the one, and I got nothing but admiration for him right now, and I've been hard on him. So hopefully he can keep it up. Hopefully he can build on this. All right, so Pete gets the first laugh, last laugh to be determined later. See you guys later. Go Hawks.